Alright guys, we have our next run here, matrick2298, going to be running Super Metroid Containment and Chamber. This ROM hack will be commentated by Metric and Leorin, who is the one who created this ROM hack. It's a pretty interesting demonstration of a lot of the technical things in Super Metroid. So, without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to you guys, and you guys can count down when you're ready.
Alright, thanks, Stray. Leo, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, countdown.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go.
So I guess you can give a bit of a background on the ROM hack for the start, because there's not too much interesting stuff going on at the beginning.
This hack is basically a puzzle hack that I made just to make people think when they play the game rather than looking for item, which is what most hacks do. But this one is just about entering the room and figuring out how to get by the room with the Super Metroid knowledge. So this hack is very short when played in a setup like this where you're speedrunning it. But normally when people play the first time, it takes 2 to 4 hours. The smallest I've seen is 2 hours on first try. So you saw now he did 2 puzzle, which was the first one, he did not do the way that was intended. Sometimes there's more than one way to do puzzles, but sometimes they might be harder or easier. This one you're supposed to bounce across or jump like he's doing.
Oh, come on.
This floor is not glitch, it is meant to push the character down, so you cannot get through with just rolling. You have to jump across it. And here, use of something that's not very used too much in the game: the charge beam, bomb spread. I changed the boss HP so that stuff like that will one-shot them. Do not make it tedious for no reason.
Yeah, another thing he did to make it less tedious was he kind of amped up the amount of health and ammo that you get from drops, so it makes it a lot easier farming and things like that, because you're supposed to focus completely on doing the puzzles and stuff. There's no exploration or anything, none of those aspects are supposed to be in this hack.
Yeah, also surviving is not supposed to be a concern. Saves are plenty, and weight replenish is plenty as well. This puzzle is labeled 5, even though there's kinda more than one puzzle in it. I don't know if I would consider this gate glitch to be a puzzle though.
Dude. The beginning part is kind of just a couple of mechanics that are usually pretty easy for people to know. Even in a first time playthrough, you should be able to go through some of the stuff relatively quickly. There was that gate earlier that I shot with the charge shot, and that's actually not the intended way to do it. You're supposed to use another charge bomb spread to get that one, but it's a little bit faster to not do the charge bomb spread and just shoot it with the shot. And that's probably the first, actually pretty puzzling puzzle of this hack. The rest are pretty, if you're an experienced runner, you should know all of those tricks. So, puzzle 6, this one's pretty interesting. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to let that snail climb very high up, to the top of the room. And then you're supposed to actually, I messed up. Someone need to do that actually.
You don't have super missiles.
Oh crap! Right. All right. Whatever. I'll just do with my strat. So you're supposed to super him down to land on top of that missile, and then wall jump off of him, and then get up on the platform. But you can actually jump through these spikes with a pseudo screw, and use the knockback to get up on the platform. It's a little tight, but it's a lot faster than waiting for the snail to go all the way around. And you just saw it right there.
Yeah, like someone said in the chat, like if you want to do this hack, it's better to not actually watch it. Like if you want to try it yourself, because this is the kind of hack you watch it, you kind of ruin it for yourself. But if you're like, if you're not a speedrunner of this, you most likely won't have the knowledge to be able to go through it. Because there's some very obscure things, like number 9 coming up here is something I've invented and have problems with. But you need to clip through the wall with the shine spark and break the wall, because those are speed booster block. That looks very simple the way they did it, but most people actually don't know how to do it because there's only one very specific combination of button that works.
This puzzle, the way I'm doing this one, is also not intended. I'm actually using something that is a little technique that Eden Ace Dragon figured out. Actually, he calls it a gravitational horizontal bomb jump, and it abuses one of the mechanics that you can see abused a lot for something like with a gravity jump or something like that, where when you have your momentum is slowed down less in water, and so when you have like a high momentum from like being out of water, and then you get into water, your momentum gets slowed not as fast, so then you actually travel much further with less momentum. Or with high amounts of momentum. I guess that made sense. And this is just a little grapple clip. Grapple's a pretty broken beam, sort of. When you're like inside of solid blocks and stuff, it pushes you up a little bit. And there are some pretty cool abusive things that you can do with that. But that's the only one in this hack.
There'll be another one later.
Not like clips though. Like there's the
There's the one at the end would push you through the wall entirely.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about it at the end. So here we have a grapple jump. This is a very uncommon trick. Not a lot of people know about it, so some people could have had trouble with this one if it was their first time. And then here's another gravity jump. So there you can see momentum being kept. And I didn't make it all the way up, dang.
The grapple jump, you can actually jump as much as you want after if you keep morphing and unmorphing. And you can perform a spin jump out of that, which is what the part most people don't know about. Most people know about the grapple jump, but they don't know about being able to spin jump off of it.
Yeah, you're standing on solid ground for that second, so you can do anything you can do on solid ground. So here's a really interesting boss fight. What was intended to be done was what you saw back at towards the beginning with the blue gate, where you can shoot the missile and it clips through. But there's actually a new technique that Eden Ace Dragon figured out, where you can just shoot right through, and it just goes right through the wall. And so the way that works is it's a little complicated, but shot particles, like projectiles in general, they don't despawn as long as there's one pixel of them that isn't being covered by solid blocks. So it needs to be entirely covered by solid blocks on the one side of the direction that it's going. And so what you do there is you get in a perfect pixel perfect position, such that when the particle spawns, or the projectile spawns, it will for the first frame that is on the screen, one of the rightmost pixels is to the right side of the wall, and then the next frame, there's a pixel that's to the left side of the wall, so you can it actually stays. It doesn't despawn from hitting the wall, which is really useful there for that fight.
Nice
I got
clipping
a little
through
stuff
there.
there. Had to
Yeah.
drop back down. That's just a pretty simple clip. It's a ice clip. If you've ever seen low percent ice, you should be familiar with that. So now we're in the lower Norfair, which is a interesting area.
Actually called Ridley, not the lower Norfair.
Yeah, technically.
Technically.
If you aren't able to tell yet, this is based a lot off of Metroid 1. You'll be seeing that in the future. The next couple of rooms. Oh my goodness, I almost fell.
I was actually starting to run out of idea for puzzle at that point. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm gonna put that there. But I ended up making puzzle using the actual map without changing it too much. Like right here. If you shine spark in lava, you cannot. It just goes at 1 pixel per frame, or like not even. And then if you turn off speed booster, then it starts to go super fast.
Yeah, it's really weird that mechanic, but I don't personally know how that works. I'm sure if you asked ED, he would know how it worked or why
That's
that
because when you have speed and lava and speed booster is equipped, lava will basically put your speed at 0. And if you don't have speed booster equipped, it doesn't do that. That's just the way they programmed it.
And I forgot to turn the speed booster back on. So here's a really cool spring ball trick. This is something you see in a lot of hacks, where you're supposed to get full speed, and then you do a speed ball, and it'll like kind of do, as long as you hold A, or jump rather, it'll do like some perfect jumps across some platforms and stuff.
Also,
So,
high Ridley grade, by Ridley grade.
Yeah. Whoops.
Also, don't forget to heal when you can.
Alright, yeah. Don't want to die to Ridley. Or the, trying to spoil anything, actually.
Spoiler alert.
And this is just a kind of glitchy little glitch here, where when you grapple downward at a grapple block, it kind of spawns you standing vertical, and so when you do it repeatedly, it kind of pushes you through the block. It's really weird, and very unknown. So it took a lot of people a little while to figure that out to do there. And then right after that, there was a another grapple glitch using the same type of mechanic where grapple spawns you far away from the block at first because the beam is fully extended. So just some cool little grapple exploits.
Here, there's 2 super blocks that you need to destroy with one super, and by running super fast and shooting it, you hit the first one first, and then it ignores the box and keep going, because the super missile has 2 hitbox instead of 1. And if the second one hit first, then it doesn't count. And then we got MLG Force, Illuminati.
Start spamming the Illuminati, guys. Here's the epic Ridley fight.
And yes, the Illuminati MLG Force gave Hyper Beam.
So here's another just a little mini grapple exploit. Basically, your beam can go through the single block, so it just latches onto that and pulls you through. Similar to the way the Yapping Maws can pull you through blocks, as you saw in the gathering around a minute ago.
And now O is the last puzzle. This one is like easy to figure out what to do, but hard to execute. Most people
this is one of the
take
few that's
a while
actually
to,
really hard to execute.
Yeah.
And that's basically the end of this now. I just gotta shine spark and then I'm done.
Sorry guys, we cannot save the animal unless you never go in that direction.
I wasn't gonna anyway though, so that's okay. And done. If we have time, I just want to explain this real quick. This super thing, Leorin kind of explained it, but he didn't really explain it that in depth. Basically, I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but there's like a first half and a second half of the projectile. It's made up of 2 projectiles, and you have to shoot it in such a way that it spawns, so that one of the projectiles hits one of the blocks, and the other projectile is like gets past it. So the speed has to be the right, like you have to be the right distance away, so that it will spawn with only that one piece of it on top of the block. That piece goes away and the block is destroyed, and then the next piece can freely hit the other block. Very similar to the Spore Spawn wraparound shot to get Spore Spawn supers without fighting him. So yeah, that's Containment Chamber. Are we gonna be like watching the credits or?
No, I think that'll be it. Thank you, Magic, for your run. Thank you for the commentary, Leorin.
Alright, I'll see you in 30 minutes.
Yes, sir.
See you, everybody.
We're going to be working on moving on to our next run, trying to catch up a little bit in the schedule since we are behind. But our next run will be Super Metroid Stardust by Personitis. I just want to double check the schedule and make sure I did not just announce that incorrectly. That is correct. Super Metroid Stardust by Personitis will be setting up here. We'll be back momentarily. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere.